What happened to us? How did survival become the only thing we teach? How did pain become inheritance? How did so many people learn how to hide before they ever learned how to heal? Oh, we're tired. We tired. I know women that smile so nobody asks questions. No men so numb they mistake race for protection. No children in the next room hearing every fight, learning what love is from fear every night. And people say that's just how relationships go. No, that's trauma repeating itself through generations. We never broke. Facts. We mask up pretending everything okay. Family pictures on the wall while the spirit dictate. Church on Sunday, silence on Monday. Whole house emotionally drowning by Tuesday. Somebody mama lost herself trying to save everybody. Somebody daddy stopped crying and turned cold in his body. Somebody child grew up praying after his screaming. Now they older still battling depression and demons. Took your body. Ain't nobody wanna say it out loud, but some people are exhausted from carrying everybody else. Strong friend, strong mother, strong provider, strong survivor, but secretly falling apart on the inside. Oh no, some wounds don't close easy. I know some nights feel endless, but God never meant for your spirit to live this heavy. We cry in silence, smile through violence, call it strength while our souls keep dying. No more hiding, no more pretending. This healing journey might save generations. Heal us, heal us, heal us, heal us. And maybe the bravest thing we ever do is finally tell the truth. Yeah. Men told don't cry, so they learn anger instead. Women taught loyalty even when emotionally dead. And somewhere along the line, everybody stopped feeling safe. Now communication sound like war, love sound like escape. Some people don't need another relationship. They need rest, need therapy, need forgiveness, need God, need space to breathe without surviving for 1 second. And social media made it worse. Everybody performing healing, posting quotes about peace while privately breaking ceilings. We got people screaming family first while destroying the family at home. People begging for intimacy while emotionally unavailable in their soul. And maybe some people were never toxic. Maybe they were just deeply wounded, with nobody safe enough to help them unpack it. Some of us were taught to endure things we should have escaped. Some of us confused suffering with loyalty. Some of us stayed because we didn't believe peace was possible for us. But healing is possible. We deserve homes that feel peaceful, love that feels equal, love that feels equal, rest for the weary soul. No more surviving alone. Rise, rise, rise. There's still light inside your chest. Even after everything, you'll survive. Hold on, don't give up, don't give up. And if nobody told you lately, you are still worthy of joy, of safety, of love, of peace. Maybe healing starts when we finally stop pretending we're okay. happened to us? How did survival become the only thing we teach? How did pain become inheritance? How did so many people learn how to hide before they ever learned how to heal? Oh, we're tired. We tired. I know women that smile so nobody asks questions. No men so numb they mistake brace for protection. No children in the next room hearing every fight, learning what love is from fear every night. And people say that's just how relationships go. No, that's trauma repeating itself through generations we never broke. Facts. We masked up pretending everything okay. Family pictures on the wall, out of spirit decay. Church on Sunday, silence on Monday. Whole house emotionally drowning by Tuesday. Somebody mama lost herself trying to save everybody. Somebody daddy stopped crying and turned cold in his body. Somebody child grew up praying after his screaming. Now they older still battling depression and demons. Took your body. Ain't nobody wanna say it out loud, but some people are exhausted from carrying everybody else. Strong friend, strong mother, strong provider, strong survivor, but secretly falling apart on the inside. Oh no, some wounds don't close easy. I know some nights feel endless, but God never meant for your spirit to live this heavy. We cry in silence, smile through violence, call it strength while our souls keep dying. No more hiding, no more pretending. This healing journey might save generations. Heal us, heal us, heal us, heal us. And maybe the bravest thing we ever do is finally tell the truth. Yeah. Men told don't cry, so they learn anger instead. Women taught loyalty even when emotionally dead. And somewhere along the line, everybody stopped feeling safe. Now communication sound like war, love sound like escape. Some people don't need another relationship. They need rest, need therapy, need forgiveness, need God, need space to breathe without surviving for 1 second. And social media made it worse. Everybody performing healing, posting quotes about peace while privately breaking ceilings. We got people screaming family first while destroying the family at home. People begging for intimacy while emotionally unavailable in their soul. Maybe some people were never toxic. Maybe they were just deeply wounded, with nobody safe enough to help them unpack it. Some of us were taught to endure things we should have escaped. Some of us confused suffering with loyalty. Some of us stayed because we didn't believe peace was possible for us. But healing is possible. We deserve homes that feel peaceful, love that feels equal, love that feels equal, rest for the weary soul. No more surviving alone. Rise, rise, rise. There's still light inside your chest. Even after everything, you'll survive. Hold on, don't give up, don't give up. And if nobody told you lately, you are still worthy of joy, of safety, of love, of peace. Maybe healing starts when we finally stop pretending we're okay.
Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Golden. I'm back. We got another video. So y'all, as y'all know, we had started our four-part series here, where we said we were going to be listening to the entire conversation and interview with Alanya Von Zant and Roland Martin, which I think is a very diabolical interview, um, in my opinion, right? In many ways, it's very healing. When I listened to a lot of the stuff in the interview, I was taking notes, honestly. Like, and I do take notes, we do stuff virtually and stuff now, so I type it out. But I was taking notes because a lot of the things that they was talking about in this interview is things that I needed to apply to myself in my life as well. And I thought it could be or possibly be helpful for others. Maybe, maybe not. But it was a great conversation, right? So we're now moving and approaching part three, which they get into a conversation around the disease of hopelessness, right? Addressing the pain of, and it is more specifically geared towards Black men. But we know that it does not have to be race based. This conversation is very much open to all humans, whether you female, male, or indifferent. It's just what they're speaking about, right? And how it, applies to us or how we may receive it or making, utilize some of the advice that Ananya has in this interview. And so, yes, we have now reached part three. And again, I do have Imani here with me. And we will be watching this together and co-hosting together on this part of the live. It is about 5:14 p.m. here, Eastern time in the United States. Um, and the weather outside is really nice, y'all. It's really, really nice today. The sun is up, it's shining, and it's warm, y'all. Y'all know I love that. It puts me in a good mood. But I'm not gonna get into much of that. Let's go ahead and introduce Imani to the stage and let her come up. And then we will get started. I'll let y'all know what, in more depth as far as what part three is going to be about. So what's up, Imani girl? How you doing today? How are you feeling? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think your mic's giving off a bit of oh, oh, yeah, your
Is
mic's
it
giving off a bit.
now?
No, but what I'll do is once we get going, I'll come back in. Um, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. The weather's been a bit strange here. It's been raining today. Um, yeah, I had a fairly uneventful day, apart from some wild trolling in Kimmy's chat. People have no respect whatsoever. Coming
Oh,
there to do their foolishness and
girl.
want to talk
Mm-hmm.
to
Go
me
ahead.
about what color I am, because obviously that person has never heard a black person who can speak the Queen's English. This is why this sector is in the state it is, because you got foolish old people walking around trolling people. They need to go look work. Seriously. Anyway, enough about that. Apart from that,
Yeah.
hi Carlos, we've got a super mod here today.
Girl, let me tell you something funny, right? So when I did the intro, I gotta plug this speaker back in. When I did the intro just now, child, because we had came from over there or whatnot, and there was some things going down in multiple different ways. Some things we had to address, and it was geared towards us as well. The word diabolical was in my mind, right? So when I was uh, presenting or opening up and talking about what the conversation between Alana and Roland was, I said diabolical. And I did not mean to say diabolical, y'all. This is not diabolical. What we dealt with earlier was diabolical. This is a conversation.
Yes, it was
I
diabolical.
cannot. Oh,
Diabolical
I was like, yo,
behavior.
what did I just say? I was like, not diabolical, but I was thinking about some other stuff in my head as well at the same time. No, this conversation is not diabolical at all. this conversation is, it's beautiful. It's transitional. It's all of those positive things, not diabolical, child. But yeah, we see the things that be going on and happening, and sometimes, we gotta pop out. So yeah, that did happen a little bit earlier. But yes, let's get back into it. So I'm gonna let you finish. So how is your weather there? What time is it for you? How was your day?
Yeah, and so apart from some old foot trolling me today, um, you know, and the weather has been raining
Oh,
today, and yeah, the weather's been raining. But apart from that, um, everything else is fine. You know, like I said, I don't let the foolishness grind me down. I'm not gonna entertain idiots. But apart from that, everything is good. It's been a quiet day here on the Western Front. Just seeing what's going on in UK politics, which we'll come to when we do our political stuff. I'll give a UK political update. There's a few things going on in our government, a few resignations after the elections. But yeah, it's been a good day today. Yeah.
okay, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just give a quick synopsis of what we'll be talking about here on part three. Like I said, this is titled "The Disease of Hopelessness." This is part three to this four-part series. And so let's go ahead and get into it real quick. All right. So basically, we are moving into the disease of hopelessness. And Alanya points us towards a truth that is often hard to swallow. And yes, I said that this segment is, geared a lot towards men and wrapped around men. A man cannot give to you what he has not first given to himself. For too long, we have had, and yes, this particular conversation is wrapped around the Black community. So y'all forgive me the way I have to say these words, the way I have written them, but it's what we're talking about. But again, it can apply to all races. But for too long, our brothers, and that could be, we talk about our Black brothers, but it could be other brothers as well, have been taught that their only values lie in what they can produce, protect, or provide. But they haven't been given the tools to process. When a human being is denied the space to be vulnerable, that internal pressure doesn't just disappear, it transforms. So today, we are looking for the why behind, and it's unfortunate sometimes those transformations become violent. So we're looking at the why behind the violence, not just to satisfy it, but to understand it deeply enough to finally kill the root of it. So we're going to be getting into the heart of the matter. So some of the talking points they get a bit deep. So we will be putting up trigger warning banners along the way, and we will have some information as far as helplines and resources and things of that nature. But we have the emotional muzzle. So the concept about that is basically from childhood, many young boys and men are socialized to man up, which effectively muzzles their ability to express fear, sadness, or insecurity. And the point in all of that is that we have been raising generations of men who have been taught that the only acceptable masculine emotional, um, you know, transference or emotion to have is anger. That's the main one that they go to. So when you take away a man's right to cry, the only thing he has left to do is scream or strike out. We have to break that muzzle if we want to stop these explosions. They also will talk a little bit about the provider paradox. So when economic or systemic hurdles prevent a man from fulfilling the traditional provider role, he may experience a collapse of identity. If a man's entire self worth is tied to his paycheck and he loses his job or struggles to provide, he feels like he has lost his right to exist. Not saying all, but some. That disease of hopelessness creates a vacuum where resentment can grow. We need to help our men find a value that isn't tied to a dollar sign, but to their character and their spirit. We also have the mirror effect of the father hunger. So many men are operating out of a father hunger, a deep void that has been left by an absent or emotionally distant father. And they are subconsciously taking that hunger out on sometimes the women in their lives. Iyanla speaks on the rot of the root. A man hasn't healed his relationship with his father is often a boy in a man's body trying to lead a household. He is looking for validation from his woman that only a father could have given. When he doesn't get it, he reacts out that childhood wounding. Then we'll get into the summary, but before we do all of that, we're going to watch and listen a little bit to the rest of the video. And we are starting here now at the 1:30 mark within the video, and that's about the third 45-minute interval, because we cut it up into 4 segments, 45 minutes apiece. So I have that pulled up here, y'all. So let's go ahead and get that on the screen, and we will listen to this together. We will take 10-minute intervals as we listen, and after 10 minutes, we will pause and we'll have some commentary, and then we're going to go along. If you guys want to meet and join the conversation in the chat, you're welcome to do so. But let's go ahead and get into it.
Says, and then I read what you wrote. I'm reading the email. I'm like, okay. And then she says, I need you to understand something. I had already committed to kill myself. She said, I picked how I was going to do it. I picked where I was going to do it. I picked when I was going to do it. She said, but now after reading what you wrote, I now realize that God has a plan for my life. And I've told that story, and people are like, oh my God, that's amazing. I said, no. I said, you shouting on the wrong thing. I said, because if I was not obedient to him and didn't write what he put in my spirit to write, then it would have never been on the site for him to send her to read it at the appointed time.
She had to be obedient too. And,
right.
and
but
that's the
my
question.
job though is to write it. So my point is, I said, we're going to do the segments.
Right.
We're going to do the conversations. We're not giving it a beat because I don't know who's watching or listening.
Right.
And if we can provide people with real things, this, and again, I want
not because it's the end all be all, but it's something.
The books that you laid out, the books that others are laying out, what we cannot do is be in this moment being, and I'm going to say it purposely, this is not a moment to be performative.
No.
To just put somebody's photo.
That's right.
On your Instagram.
Right.
Or put a graphic up or say thoughts and prayers. Oh my God. When will this end? No, this is a moment where it requires action.
Because see, even if this is not an issue for you, if you have never experienced domestic violence, you've never been raped, brutalized, whatever, you still got a wound. But as you do your work, you then become the Bible somebody else can read. You don't know who you're going to bump into on the train. We all have to do our work, whatever it is. And everybody's not going to church, Roland. Everybody's not going to the temple. But everybody can be healthy. Everybody can be regulated. We all have to learn a new language. And we, as people of color, as descendants of Africans, we got to get back to our culture and begin to do things that resonate with Big Mama in our bones, that strike up, auntie in our system, and stop embracing so much of this craziness in this world that don't have nothing to do with us. When I see women jump across a table and throw drinks in each other's face,
oh my God, you can't.
That's not good behavior. That's not good.
I first just do understand something. I was in New York City for something, and I was like, well, everybody keep talking about this show. It was 2:00 in the morning. What I was like, I'm in a hotel room. I'm not sleepy. 10 minutes. I said, this is what the people raving about. I said, they were by the pool yelling, hollering, and screaming about how you showed my charity deal and throwing wine. I was like, I can't. I said, I can't deal with this. I said, my brain, I said, I can't. So I don't even, and this is people, when I had my TV One show and this one, I refuse to allow reality show folk on my show.
Well, I'm a reality show folk.
No. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
Now, let me tell you
and I had a sister who was, I was out that day. And she was on one of them housewives show. And she was coming in town for this something else. I said, listen, she can come on the show to discuss this issue while she's in town. Y'all can't mention the show. And they were like, Roland, I said, you don't understand. I said, there are y'all, some of y'all say that's my entertainment. But it's a whole bunch of us. They are processing that in a whole different way. And I said, and I just can't be a participant.
Well, you know why I watch it? Let me tell you why I watch it. I watch it because I want to know what our young people are looking at. I want to know how our young people are thinking. I want to know how our young people are processing so that should they come to me,
got it?
I can meet them where they are. I have to meet them where they are. I can't try to pull them up or pull them down. I have to meet them where they are. I don't, and then because I can do that and be present with them, and I have to say, so tell me what is the thinking behind throwing liquor in somebody's face? But I get it from them. I don't understand it. I get it from them.
They come to me, I'm gonna send to you. I can't do it. Yeah, I told y'all we were gonna take your phone calls. And we want to set it up first. So put the number on the screen. First of all, I'm gonna show this. First of all, I'll pull it on. The number right there, y'all see 202-890-1199. 202-890-1199. If y'all have, some of y'all are like, hey, I wanted to ask Iyanla a question. Here's your opportunity to do so. You can ask her a question. We will take your questions. Let me be real clear. No sermonettes, no speeches, no life stories. If y'all trying to pitch her a product, I'm gonna cut you off. I'm gonna let y'all know. So we're gonna have a question. So we're gonna have a question, and then she gonna answer your question. And then I'm going to the next person with a question. Okay. So y'all know when I moderate events, that's why I hold the microphone. I don't hand it because you're gonna never get it back. So we're trying to give us a call right now, 202-890-1199, 202-890.
What are you doing?
I'm packing a laptop for a new Maestro.
Control room, put the name and the city of the person in is in Group Me, so I can see who the first person is. While we're waiting for them to pull, give me. Yeah, I got it. Say your name and the city you're from, so we can have that. Now, before they give me that, now put the Shreveport graphic up. We will be in Shreveport on Thursday, y'all. Dr. Kevin Washington has organized this. It is a Black Men's Mental Health Forum, Mount Canaan Baptist Church, 1666 Austin Street in Shreveport. Is addressing IPV, intimate partner violence, community gun violence, health and wellness, psycho-emotional integrity. Dr. Kevin Washington is a licensed African-centered psychologist. And so he is leading this. We will be broadcasting this on the Black Star Network. So I do the show from there on Thursday, and we'll be showing this as well. And he's doing 2 days worth of stuff. Beautiful. This is what we're doing on Thursday. And so we want y'all to check that out. And please do so. Joshua Dubois is having an event on Thursday as well. It's a Zoom call. I'll show that as well. He's calling a dad checking in with dads. And so we'll have that as well. All right, folks. Latasha, calling from Philadelphia. Latasha, what's your question for Iyanla Vanzant? You're on Roland Martin Unfiltered. We're doing on Thursday. So, Latasha, first of all, I need you to do this here. Turn your program down because you have a delay. So whatever you're listening to, turn it down. Turn it all the way down. Now ask your question.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, next time, maybe can you guys talk about what we'll be doing to further protect the children? I enjoyed tonight's program, and I noticed we talked about Black women and Black men, but I would hope going forward we can start prioritizing Black children. And that's it.
Okay, thanks for your call.
We got to take care of ourselves. We have to know that we're worthy enough. We can't give the children what we don't have. And thank you for your question, Latasha, and all of this is going to take time. You know, we have to get healthy before we can do anything for the children.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, if a woman is experiencing domestic violence, she wants to protect children.
Yeah.
That's naturally, she wants to protect those children. But to your point, if she's not there, you said it.
I'm telling my 10-year-old son to call the police. That is not his job. That was not his job. My job was to keep him away from a man who would treat his mother like that, and I failed.
Right. So our point, and she absolutely is right. And I'm gonna say this again, and I'm keep saying this here. I want to keep, we don't have that. We don't give me the wide shot. We don't have that sign. That's not a phrase.
Right.
That's not only applying to when cops are killing Black people.
Right.
I don't want another sister murdered. I don't want another child murdered. I don't want another child, another sister beaten, another child to be the byproduct of that. And I don't want the brother beaten and the brother killing. So if we want to talk about Black Lives Matter, we have to get men, women, and men.
Ooh, all right. So we're just getting started, y'all. We are just getting started and so heavy already. So we just have to stop real quick for a commentary break. We're about 10 minutes in so far. And from what I take from it, I'll start off just a little bit. No further from the truth, right? No further from the truth. And I think there could be many people that can attest. And again, I want to make it very clear. Yes, this is based around talking about, like the Black community, Black women, Black men. But we can use these talking points and these learning points, and they apply to all people, all races of people. I just want to make that very clear. And one of the things that they did say that just really stuck with me is, and when that caller called in, which is something that we thought we were seeing or we hope could be happening, even in some type of way on this app, through organizations and movements and things of that nature, when that caller asked about the children. And that is an important question for us to continue to ask about the children, right? Because the children are equally as affected. And if we're going to be very transparent about, what exactly we're talking about majorly heavily around violence, okay? Violence, period, but specifically domestic violence, and some other issues that adults may be dealing with that derive a lot from their childhood or their traumas and scars that they have in their life that they have not dealt with or healed. And then they go on to do adult-like things, right? Like, get married, have children, have careers, all of that, while still walking around with these open scars. So that's the overall conversation and point of the conversation being had, right? How that can really affect how we show up in this world. And so as far as them asking about the children, and Alanya goes on to say, well, it starts with the adults. It starts with the parents. Of course we care about the children. Of course we're going to talk about the children. Of course we're worried about the children. But if any parent or any adult is not stable and, they're already wrestling with their own demons and their own issues, while at the same time trying to raise children, have children, gear children up in the right way, they can probably sometimes get through it best they can, because a lot of us probably can attest to that. But the healthiest and the best way for that to happen and for children to really be safe is to make sure that adult is really stable and healthy mentally, physically, and spiritually. So if you are just putting yourself on the back burner, if you know you got issues and things that you need to deal with, and trying to just push along. And I know in life we don't have really much of a choice. We have to do that. But if you do have the time, if you can take the time out for anything else, you can take the time out to try and get yourself healthy, right, on the right path, healed, stable, mentally, physically, spiritually, all of those things, because the better you show up for yourself, the better you show up for your children. So I thought that was a deep part of the conversation. How about you, Imani? What do you think about this part that we've heard so far? What are some of your thoughts on what they were speaking on?
Sorry, didn't unmute. Right. This first 10 minutes focuses on the conversation once again, why we cannot stop talking, communicating about DV and community trauma. It can't stop. The conversation can't stop. And Iyanla explains that when Black women are being unalived weekly, silence is dangerous. She shared a powerful story about how her writing once stopped a woman from unaliving herself. And she emphasizes that obedience to purpose can save lives. And also, she says that it's not a time for performative activism. Not hashtags, not graphics, not thoughts and prayers. What is required is action, information, and intervention. They also talk about how everyone carries trauma, even if they haven't personally experienced violence, and how healing is it should be communal. It should be a community thing. You got to become, she says this phrase which I loved, you got to become the Bible everyone else can read, meaning your healing becomes someone else's roadmap to healing. They also talk about, as we talk about, the harmful influences, including reality TV conflicts, stress, and the need to connect with some of the old-fashioned grounding principles, emotional regulation, and healthy community norms. And obviously they got the caller that came in who wanted to talk about the children. And I think we did quite a bit on the children before, talking about their unhealed trauma and where it can lead to. She really, they're really homing in on we got to keep talking. We got to get, we've got to get with the mental health professionals. We got to, the community has to get involved. This is just not, there's not a one size fits all for this stuff. And let's not forget, women are not the only victims of DV. There are men that face this as well. So we don't want to forget about the men, because it does tend to be an argument that is very much skipped over when we talk about this stuff. So we got to share the resources. We got to teach emotional regulation and stop normalizing harmful behavior. I mean, seriously, I'm pretty sure YouTube is going to have a baddies series soon. And I look forward to some people up there getting hands thrown. I'm only joking. No, I think everybody seems to think they're in a reality TV show at the moment. But yeah, adults have to heal themselves first before they can help their children. And that's it for me, really, on that first segment.
No, I absolutely agree. And like you said, yeah, it's probably going to be a segment of baddies, that we'll see here somewhere on the YouTube streets or whatnot. Because that is what's being pushed. That's supposed to be what's cool. That's what people like to come and see. The crash out of it all, right? Like the toxicity of it all. We seem to find ourselves gravitated and drawn in to that type of energy and those type of things. And even in adult age, right? People are being drawn into that. Adults that have children. All of these things that you're consuming and you're watching and you're prioritizing is affecting you, your stability, your peace, your mental health, and you're therefore passing that down to your children. So there is a journey, right, that comes from these things that we decide to participate in and indulge in. They can make things even worse. And that's on top of the fact that we have scars and traumas and unhealed issues that we are wrestling with, dealing with, and walking around with. And a lot of times, because of those scars and traumas, like you said before in another live, it's actually an explanation as to why we may be mostly gravitated towards that type of content, that type of energy, that type of behavior, because of some of the things that we may be internally dealing with that we haven't actually dealt with the proper way. So yeah, I agree. And as far as the children, the children are never going to be ignored. We're always gonna look out for the children. We're always going to put that as a priority. I would hope people would do that. But I do think that, the severity of what they're talking about is for you to be able to help a child, for you to be able to be, there for a child properly and the best example for the child, then you have to focus with what you got going on first. You got to make sure you're stable and standing on 2 feet as well, right? Before you can be 100%, and give 100% to that child that they need to have. But let's keep going. That was just a quick commentary break. We'll get back into some more of the video for another 10 minutes and we'll be right
back. Because the reality is those children have nowhere to go because they found the leadership of one of those two.
These, the former lieutenant governor, both of his children in the house. That to me was clear hopelessness. And hear me, be on the lookout for it, beloveds. This is the rising dis-ease among Black men is hopelessness. And understand that discussing that from that perspective or whatever perspective, it doesn't have to be either or. It has to be both and.
Right.
So it has to be men, women, and children. But we cannot ask ourselves to try to do something for the kids that we aren't even equipped to handle for ourselves.
Absolutely. Karen from Los Angeles. Karen, what's your question for Iyanla Van?
Hi, Roland. Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Yeah, so I totally get that. If we're not together, we can't offer anything to the children. But can we get out in our community, though, that if we're going to even begin to work with each other or whatever, we have to there has to be a line drawn. You cannot kill kids. I'm sorry.
But we do. What are you saying we can't? We do. So
we do what?
Kill kids.
That's what I'm saying. Can we kind of get out in the community that we have to draw a line? Like we cannot. That's not part of our culture. Killing kids. This is something new.
But beloved, do you understand that when people are not in their right mind, you cannot expect them to be in their right mind?
Okay, so I see that as a kind of honestly, that may be true, Ms. Van Zandt, but that's not an excuse to me. To me,
why do you hear that? Hello?
We have to
listen, beloved, okay. Because I hear that you have a point that you want to make. That's not an excuse, my love. It's the reality. So what you're saying, can we?
Okay.
We can't, but we do because we're not well. And we can't excuse it.
I can't accept that.
Okay, you don't have to.
I feel like, shooting and killing a 1-year-old while he's sleeping, nah, that's something that we need to say, look, you're going to be doing something. We need to get out in the community, in the channels, wherever we are in the country. We need to make an agreement. If I feel like I'm going to kill kids, I got to leave.
Karen. So
yeah,
you're speaking about what took place in Shreveport, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm only going by what his brother said, and I'm only going by what his mama said. These are his family members. The VA told the New York Times that the brother spent a week in a VA hospital dealing with severe mental issues. The brother said, my brother loved his kids. If you look at the posting on Facebook, but if you also look at his Facebook postings, he talked about, God, please help me regulate my emotions. His own mother said that she talked to him and she said, son, you could beat this. And he said, Mama, the demons are too strong. The brother and the mother said they never thought at any time that the brother would kill 8 kids. So when you say we have to make an agreement, no one knows, one literally knows that a person is going to wake up on a Sunday morning at around 6 a.m. and shoot and kill 8 kids. So this is what we're trying to say. Our goal is for that not to happen, which means that first, when that brother said to his mama that the demons are too strong, there should have been a massive follow me here.
Yeah.
Because again, no one knows what someone's action is. That should have been immediate family emergency. This brother is in a state that we don't know what's going to happen. But that did not happen. So what we're trying to do is deal with people what's happening here, deal with their wounds, so it doesn't lead to that. We don't know a brother's going. No one knew that Justin Fairfax was going to at midnight shoot his wife several times and then kill himself in another part of the house. No one did. It was a shock. No one knew that the brother who was married to the vice mayor in Florida was going to shoot and kill her. No one knew that the 23-year-old son was going to kill his 51-year-old mother in Cook County. So we can't predict that. What we can do is acknowledge we've got mental health issues. There are wounds. There are men and women who are hurting. And our job is to get as much information as possible to reach and touch and teach and empower and inform so it doesn't happen again. That's what our goal is. And you say it shouldn't happen, we agree. But as Iyanla said, it is happening. And we're trying to stop more of this from happening because it is very tragic.
So let me ask you a question, Karen. Are you still there, my love?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm
What are
still here.
you feeling? What are you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling anger, and I don't even have kids.
Okay. So you're angry about what, my love? What are you angry about?
I'm angry that we've got to this point where we're killing kids. To me, I think we're very selfish people. I'm just angry at us as a group. We don't think about the kids enough. We seem to be always thinking about ourselves. We don't think about the kids' well-being. I hear about all the sexual violence. I work in an after-school program, and it's just our girls are so depressed. They feel, rejected. And I just think we're not thinking about our kids enough, and I think it's our fault. We just, as an adult, as a Black community, we're letting our kids down, and I'm just feeling angry. And like I said, I don't even have kids. I'm just sitting back watching this and just making me angry. And we have a lot of excuses. That's number one. We have so much excuses. But yeah, we can, go get this expensive car. We can go buy all these expensive clothes or whatever. But we can't think about what's best for our kids. I'm tired of it. And we have so many excuses. And we watching our kids. Our girls are very depressed. They don't like themselves. They're all. We had like a circle with a bunch of teenage
Karen,
girls,
we want to get to. I don't want to cut you off, but I want to offer you another possibility. I don't want to cut you off because I hear you and I thank you for sharing. Karen, do you know that at the polarity of anger is passion? Both of them have fire. Anger has a fire and passion has a fire. And what I hear you saying is that you have a passion for the children, a passion for our girls. I want to encourage you to find a way to take that passion and turn it into the very service that you see is needed. As opposed to sitting around in anger and judgment, how can you take that anger and push it all the way to the other end? Can you start a program for girls in the after school, in your basement, in your kitchen? Can you have them come over every other week?
I already do work this program. This is what I'm talking
all
about.
right. So then, the anger is purposeless. You just holding the anger because it's draining your passion. I just want to encourage
There you go.
Take that anger and push it into that passion and meet every day and meet in the basement and meet on the corner.
Absolutely. Cam, thanks for your phone call. Dr. King said that riots is the language of the unheard. And to your point, because that was somebody called a good friend of mine. I need to talk about your boy, what he's doing. And he said, this is the difference. It was a sister who called him. He said, you're angry. You're upset. He said, Roland's angry and upset with what Justin did, but he's moving towards action to how can he help somebody else.
Right.
And that's what a lot of us right now are pissed, angry. And sisters catching hell and they're dying. And it's like, got it. As Joe Madison, our late friend would say, what you gonna do?
What you doing about it?
He always say,
All right, y'all. So we're back. We're going to take another commentary break. What are you doing about it? What are you doing about it? Well, that was very much what we could hear. A passionate caller that called in. And, I can't say that the things that caller was saying was wrong. I understand, just like Alana said, in the end, you can tell that she holds a level of passion and frustration from seeing these things, experiencing these things, not even in her own life, but just witnessing them. Right. And the story keeps going on and on and on. Right. Like this, it happens to this family. It happens to this family. It happens to this family. And you continuously see that. And you're wondering, how can we make a change? How can we end it? How can we stop it? And so what Alanya and Roland were trying to explain is a lot of that comes from the conversation that they're holding right now. We have to get to the root of the problem, right? The root of what is causing individuals to just wake up one day and snap, right? And a lot of that is derived from traumas, unhealed wounds, frustrations, not being felt as though they're enough, not feel as though they're doing enough, being unappreciated, and the list can go on and on and on. And this can happen within parents, or this can just happen within people that's just out in the world, and their targets that they set happen to be children, right? We know that there are individuals out here that prey on children, and it doesn't have to come from the parents or the family members. It can come from a complete stranger, right? So what they're trying to do and talk about is, how do we fix that? How do we make individuals that walk around on this earth with this resentment, this anger, this rage, all of these unhealed traumas, these confusions in their mind and their soul and their spirit, how do we fix that and make that whole, to where maybe, just maybe, if that happens, these type of outcomes don't come from that, right? So that's what I got from that. Imani, what did you get from this segment right here?
Yeah, from this segment, obviously, the lady caller was concerned about the harming of children, which obviously is an issue. No shit, Sherlock. And she was saying the community must draw a line against harming children, and saying it's not in our community. Well, it is. Well, it is, because we've seen an example of that. But there's also a focus on mental health, because this is not an excuse for violence, and I need to make that disclaimer clear. People in these types of crises are not in their right mind. It's not an excuse for violence. It's the reality of what's going on. It's the reality of funds being taken from mental health institutions, from people roaming around the streets who used to have been who would have been sectioned in other days. It's the reality of people being isolated from families so that the warning signs, the red flags are not seen. You can't expect a mentally unwell person to behave rationally. You know, and there's many a tragedy where no one would have thought that someone would get up in the morning and harm their children. You can't predict these things. You can only try to intervene at an earlier stage. And that we need to focus really on early detection, on mental health support, on community vigilance. You know, community vigilance. We can't give our children what we don't have. We really can't. And there's multiple tragedies, as we said. Iyanla also talked to the woman about focusing her anger and passion and giving it a purpose. So she was encouraging the woman into stuff we used to do, like after school programs, mentorship, services for girls and families, solutions that people must work together. You know, and one of the other things that we've talked about, voting. Voting determines funding for mental health, DV, shelters, trauma programs, safe houses. These are things that are really important, which is why we keep saying vote, vote, vote. So really, the theme was protecting children, the realities of mental health. You're limited in the prediction you can make. And I believe, we're not only talking about children, we're talking about all children. We must protect the children, of course. And women in DV situations, or men in DVC situations, they want to protect their children, but they can't do so if they're unsafe and unsupported. Like I said, you can't predict the moment of crisis, but we can only help with early intervention. That's really what I got from that segment there.
I agree. The intervention part is very important, right? Because that's typically the part that we don't pay enough attention to. It's like when people are in crisis, whether they're just a random individual that may not have children, maybe having some weird or crazy demonic thoughts, or they're a person who is a parent and they do have children, but they know they may not be all the way stable themselves, but trying to do the best that they can. We have to make sure that we're paying attention to that, right? Because that's the best way to put the child in the best predicament and the best position for their outcome in the future. The better you are, the better your child is going to be in their experiences in life and their outcome in this life, right? And what you can give to them and provide to them. So it is very important for us to make sure that we're getting ourselves together when we just speak it on the children. And we did bring that portion up because that's what the caller spoke on as far as including the children in. And it's not to say that they're excluded, but in this particular conversation, it is geared and focused towards men and women of adult probably age. But yes, the children are absolutely important, and that conversation has to be had as well. And I am pretty sure Alanya, and I don't know if maybe she'll come back with Roland and do it, but I'm pretty sure she's going to have and has probably had multiple conversations around that previously before on her platforms. But let's go ahead and get into some more of the video. We'll play another 10 minutes and we'll come back for another commentary break.
How many people have an issue with domestic violence but have signed up to be a safe house? You know what a safe house is? When a woman is being secreted away, she has to stop at houses along the way.
What you gonna do?
How many people have signed up with the domestic violence headquarters to be a safe house. If you're moving a woman through my city, I can keep her 12 days,
What you
10
gonna
days,
do?
3 days. Because Karen is a classic example of what we do and what we've done, that I just want to give us the opportunity to call, as powerful as we are, and speak anger and upset with no purposeful foundation. That's why I was trying to take that over.
Absolutely.
There. Of course you feel it. Write that down. Put
Right.
that on your worksheet. Put that in your journal.
Channel your anger.
Right. Do something with
Yep.
it. And then take it and do something with it, because we don't care about, I care about the children. I care about men. I care about, I care about us as a people. You care.
Absolutely.
So again, that identity, so people will hear what she's saying. We don't. And because she's putting it on them as an identity, discard her message, which is, beloveds, we need to be more mindful of the children.
There you go. Miss Adams from Michigan. Miss Adams, you're on Roller Martin Unfiltered. What's your question for Iyanla?
Yes, hi. I wanted to find out if encapsulating all of those schools, the collaboration of all the white papers, the journals, the history books, and all of the ancestral knowledge, that advocacy is definitely important. But tying all those together for mental health and access to psychiatrists, things of that nature, we wanted to just find out, what do you suggest for community health workers, in essence, just individuals within the community, to continue to push, that is, totally advocating for our new policies and changes, even though the world may not implement it, we need to implement it back into our communities. And how would that protocol or framework be suggested from you?
So I'll address the public policy, and then Iyanla address the community aspect. First,
okay, that sounds perfect.
I appreciate your question, Ms. Adams. Thanks a lot. There is a public policy component to this. This is why I'm always trying to get our people to understand voting. The reality is, cities, school boards, counties, state legislatures, and the federal government allocates dollars to mental health, to domestic violence, to various programs. There's a sister who is she's in a runoff for a criminal court judge in Dallas County. I ran to her at church on Sunday. And she said to me, Roland, if I'm elected, I'm gonna find her name. I know my mom and daddy watch it, so y'all text me her name. She said, if I'm elected, I'm going to set up a trauma program. I'm going to set up a trauma program in my court. That's public policy. So if that sister wins, the reaction, Iyanla, is that she's going to create this so as opposed to sending somebody to jail,
right.
She's going to create the program. That's public policy. So we should be advocating for dollars in budgets. Now, that's the public policy component. The community component is different.
I think if you're a social worker, a community worker, a guidance counselor, a teacher, whatever you are, do your own spiritual hygiene. Because we got crazy people teaching our kids. We got crazy people working in our programs, impatient, stressed out, anxiety.
Also collect data. If you're at a church, go to your pastor and say, Pastor, can we do a survey? Who are the certified licensed psychologists and counselors in our church?
LSW.
And provide that list to the membership.
And then, do your work too.
Right. And then if you don't go to a church, hey, do your research. Who are the Black psychologists, the Black psychiatrists, the Black counselors who in your town, in your city, and say, hey, we put together a list. This is what I keep trying to tell people. You don't have to ask permission to do that.
No, you do not.
So your report to Karen in LA, that's one thing you do. So now all of a sudden, if you're in Shreveport or you're in Charlotte or you're in Des Moines or wherever, you say, hey, we got the list. You need some therapy? Here are the Black folks who do it. Pick whoever you want to go to, because the person who don't know, they don't even know where to look. You could put the list together. That's called helping the community out and putting it on your website, sharing it with churches, putting in your text chats sharing it with various groups, and now that thing is circulating. All around the community.
And I want to again encourage teachers, social workers, community workers, do your work also, so that when people come to you, you meet them with presence and grace and not anxiety and just, just discarding them.
Hey, I know you probably like when people come up to me, they're like, hey, what's your issue? What you need? Not problem. Hit so-and-so.
Right.
Like I'm all about, listen, you ain't got to give me the 20-minute story. I'm all like, what you need?
Yeah.
No, hit so-and-so. Hit so-and-so.
Right.
That's called being a resource.
Right.
James Cook from North Carolina, the first brother to call. I got 5 other sisters. I'm going to come to y'all, but I got to throw a brother in. James, what's your question for Iyanla?
Thank y'all for this show. It really helped me. I'm a veteran, and I see so many Black veterans that need mental health.
Yeah.
But how do I encourage them? Because I go through mental health myself. I get counseling, and I've been doing it over a year, and we need it. But how do I go about, I try to encourage them, but they really deny. But how can I go about trying to encourage even more Black veterans to get help?
Hey, James, have you ever walked with one? Have you ever said, you know what, I'm going to take you, brother, or I'll go with you?
That's it.
Most of the time, I try to share with them. They deny to say nothing wrong.
No. But here's what I'm asking. What I'm asking. If you know something is wrong, have you ever said, hey, brother, I go to the VA. You know what? I'll go with you. I'll drive you. I'll go with you. It's okay. Have you ever tried that?
I never tried that, but I will now.
There you go. And see, here's the deal, James. You can't save everybody.
Right.
I just want you to do it with one person. And here's the piece. If that brother says, hey man, I don't, you say, listen, you know what? I'm gonna go to another brother. I'm gonna go to 5 or 10. One of them might say, man, please go with me. Because they've been waiting on somebody to walk with them. And so just try that, and then you might find some success.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
I appreciate it, James.
They won't go until it hurts bad enough. And we really do, Roland, need to deal with the issue of denial. So many of us are in denial about what's going on. Don't want to talk about it, sometimes because we don't have the language, sometimes because we don't feel equipped, and sometimes because we just too lazy to do the work.
But I think the walking with someone is so important because they may be thinking, I'm going by myself. But if we just simply say, hey, Doc, I'll go with you. I'll be outside here waiting on, I'll take you back home.
Yeah.
You may be, and that may be their start on that road to get sick. Usually to help somebody get on that road. Let's go to Donna McAdoo. Donna put a whole government name in here. Donna McAdoo Kelly, Springfield, Missouri. She put everything in here. Donna, you're on Rollout Unfiltered. What's your question for Iyanla?
Hey, my brother, how are you?
Great.
I'm good.
I understand that. My name is Donna McAdoo. Pardon my speech, I had throat cancer, so...
It's up. Donna, we hear you just fine.
Anyway, I wonder why we stay so long. I was in St. Louis, and I moved to Springfield in 2009. This man wouldn't hit me, but he would choke me. And when he choked me so hard that my eye popped out, I knew I had to not say nothing. He went to work, I went to the highway. We stayed too long.
Don, thanks for your call. You actually addressed it. You said
you will not leave until it hurts bad enough. For her, it was a popped out eye. For me,
and when I try to talk to these young ladies, they give excuses. He didn't mean it. He was drunk. All this other stuff.
Doesn't hurt bad enough. It just doesn't hurt bad enough. When it hurts bad enough.
Don, thanks for your phone call.
When it hurts bad enough, they'll leave. But here's the thing. When it hurts bad enough, they'll leave, but then don't blame him. And that's the other thing we get into. You know, then we'll make him wrong for us staying.
Yep.
And everything, there's a lesson. I learned so much staying in that relationship. I didn't know I was learning. I didn't get the lessons until later, but I never, ever made him wrong. What he did was wrong. How I participated was wrong, but I never made him wrong. And I don't think people understand the difference.
Yep.
What he did was wrong. It was wrong. What I did was equally wrong.
Denise from...
Okay, y'all. So that one was really powerful. We're going to go ahead and take a quick commentary break here before we get into, they're going to go into a next caller. But as far as the one that we previously heard from, we heard from some veterans, which is something I can attest to as well, because I do live in a military town, an Air Force base area. And there are a lot of people that are walking around that are veterans that may be having some issues, mentally or with their, emotional health. And, they may be in denial that they do have those issues, or they may be embarrassed. They may feel as though, they don't want to open up or tell anybody about it. And if somebody, tries to call it out, then they may feel, triggered in some type of way. So there has to be the proper approach, and there has to be the proper resources also that these individuals can get and, have to find the proper help that they need. Unfortunately, what tends to happen, we see a lot here in my community when it comes to veterans, which I think is terribly disgusting and unfortunate. A lot of veterans wind up being homeless. So there are a lot of veterans with mental issues that are just on the streets, just walking around and, needing help. Pretty decent people, even if you, stop and you take the time to talk to them, you can have a very, stable conversation with some not. Not saying all that you can't, but, there's so many people are out here needing help and maybe not knowing how to get it, not having resources to get it, or having someone that can just hold their hand along the way on the journey. So just being that helping hand for someone that you see that's in need, that may be crashing out, that may be going through something, that may need some additional support, that you may be worried about, their stability. If you approach the right way and lead with love in your heart and real actual caring about the well-being of that person, you can make the difference. You might can and you might can't, right? Because some people are just going to do what they're going to do. Some people are not going to try to hear what you got to say. And, that's hard to combat against and fight against. But you can at least try. And you never know until you try. That's all I have to say on that. Imani, do you have any thoughts on this segment? And thank you so much for helplines. So we have helplines and resources that y'all will be seeing in the chat that I also equally be putting up on the screen. So if anybody needs any help or aid and assistance, and it's not just in the United States, some of these are worldwide, UK based as well. If you need any of these resources or information, they will be in the chat, and I also will be putting them on the screen. Sorry, Imani, you can go ahead.
Yeah, on this segment now, what do we have? Whew. This is about, us really transforming our anger into action. A lot of us are angry about this stuff, but, anger doesn't help anything. Action does. So, there are things there's one thing we talked about this on, I believe, the last live. And Iyanla asked, has anybody signed up to be a safe house? A safe house means that woman who's fleeing can stop at your home for a night or two. That is part of the community coming together and helping. And I said this, that, when I was younger, I remember family, friends, and people coming to stay at the house for days with their kids and not realizing until later on in life that these were people going through DV. Also, you know, we've got to stop attacking people because they don't accept the message if we attack them. So we've got to focus on what we need to get done, and we're protecting our children. The policies matter. You know, you vote. Your cities, your counties, your school boards, your state legislatures, they decide the funding for mental health and domestic violence programs. It's not just a symbol, you know, it determines what happens to the money and how it is spent, you know. And they talked about a judge that's creating a trauma space in her courtroom, you know, talking about therapy, counseling. We had a call from a veteran, and you know, he was called in talking about encouraging other veterans, as you said, to get help. This one, the woman that called in said we stay too long. That can be right or wrong because it has to be safe for some people to leave. You can't just up and leave. Sometimes it's dangerous to leave when you're not ready and you haven't made safe measures to leave. What else? It really is focusing on action. You know, we've got to, you know, and the community has to get involved. That's I've got a lot of stuff where people need to help, people need to point out the red flags. You've got the helplines there, even for veterans. We've got to think about the votes, think about the resources and how they're spent. And that's what I got from that section.
I agree. I agree. And it can be difficult. It can be difficult when someone's going through something like that. You know, just like Alanya said, unfortunately, the wording, but it's truthful wording. It's hurtful wording, but it's truthful. It has to hurt you bad enough for you to make the decision to do something, choose something, reach to somebody's hand, somebody's organization, somebody's group, somebody's spiritual leader, or a spiritual leader that you know want to find for yourself, to give you the strength and the power to get out of that situation. You have to make that decision. And a lot of times there are people that witness it right from the outside looking in. They love you, they care about you. They could be your family members, they could be your friends, they could be your colleagues, they could be anybody, right? Maybe even just somebody passing by who might have been through that experience before, and they see that look in your eyes and they know that you're going through something. And they might just want to give you a word of wisdom or strength. And all of that is great. All of that is necessary. All of that you wouldn't even believe, but it is appreciated. However, it does take the person to make up their mind that enough is enough for them and they want to walk away from the predicament in the situation that they're in. And, you know, resources help because sometimes they may not make that decision because they don't know, if I leave here, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Where am I going to live? What about my kids? What about my safety? So the resources absolutely help. People who can have conversations with you and say, listen, you're not alone. I've been through this before myself. And so don't be ashamed about what you're going through. It happens to the best of us. So don't walk around with your head down and think as though, you know, you have to just be stuck in that situation. There's nobody out here that'll understand what you're going through, and want to give you advice and love, a shoulder to cry on, a bed or a sofa to sleep on if you need that, right? Those resources and individuals with good hearts are out there and willing to help. And I know sometimes when you're in the thick of it, it doesn't seem that way. And you don't think those things, right? Because you're just in the fight of it all. But it is possible. It does exist. And I think what it really just boils down to, you know, is the decisions that we make and when enough is enough for you, right? I believe Mama wants to come in. She has a few things she want to say. So let me see if I can drop the link, Mama, for you. Here you go. You can come up and, you know, she has a lot of great insight and wisdom, you know, to give and add to a lot of these things. And with the braveness that she does speak from experience, her own personal experiences. And that's appreciated because, like I said, that is what can help maybe just turn things around or have someone else have a bit more hope that it's looking dark right now, but you can come out on the other side in the light. It may not be that way forever, right? You can get out of it, but we just have to move accordingly. But yeah, I dropped the link, Ma. So if you want to come up, you can come up, or do you want to listen to a little bit more before while you're getting everything ready to come up? It's up to you. Let's do a little bit more of the video and then come up after this segment, okay? Oh, here she go. All right, you got up there fast. All right, hey Ma, what is up? You can unmute your mic and what's going on, Mama?
Hey, everybody. Of course, I want to say God bless and love you all in Jesus' name. I came on because I wanted to agree with you and Amani, especially about us thinking that when one is a victim indeed, that we sometimes think, yeah, that person can just jump up and run. And unfortunately, that is not the case. You have to safely prepare to exit that situation. Thank God there are so many programs and agencies and numbers that I know Mani has put up, and they're all over the place. They're everywhere where you can call and maybe get assistance in getting out. But please, by every means, do not just get up and run. That can be very, very, very dangerous, especially when you're trying to run with your children. I too have been okay, I'll say it this way. I have been a victim. I am now a survivor of DV, both mental and physical. I I went through that for about 21 years. It took me 21 years. It took a little angel called Golden that God sent here to help me at the very end to get up out of this thing. She did come many, many, many times to say, Mommy, you gotta go. Mommy, you gotta go. But as life would have it, as our hearts would have it, when we're not listening to God, we listen to our own hearts, we listen to our own love, and we just think that with every apology, with every I'm sorry, with every change of behavior for a short week or a few days or so, we keep thinking, oh, it's going to get better, it's going to get better, but it never does. But I just wanted to piggyback right on that, where you and Amani both said, no, you can't just up and run. And it was the same for me. I couldn't just up and run. It was for many reasons. One was financial. There was many reasons why I could not just get up and run. Um, and sometimes that be the case, you know. There's many reasons. They want a father for their children, or they want a mother for their children, because men become abused as well. So let's be fair about it all. But yeah, it's going to take a lot of prayer, and it's going to take a lot of preparation, and you're going to need to call some help so that you can exit. But in God's name, do exit. In God's name, do exit. And I know that He'll be right there with you, walking you through those doors and out of that situation. So that's all I really wanted to share. You guys are doing a great live. I think this is a blessing for everyone. I would like to see much more of this come from you guys. You guys do great lives on all kinds of subjects, but this one was very heartfelt. It was very close and personal for me. It gave me, you know, I had a little deja vu, went back to a few things and what have you. But I thank God today, and I say it with tears in my eyes, that God delivered me out of that. You understand what I'm saying? And this is why I love Him so. And I just wanted to share that. And you guys know I love you. And I'm not going to say much more because I want you to go ahead with this wonderful life. And, you know, I'll be in the chat, babies. I'll be in the chat.
Okay, Mama. Thank you so much for sharing that, being so open and vulnerable.
Yeah, when you share, a lot of times that blesses other people, or it gives them the encouragement to come out. You see, because it
Right.
shouldn't be. We don't want to make DV a taboo thing. If you're in that, that's dangerous. That's critical. And it shouldn't be a taboo thing. You should be able to tell your sister. You should be able to tell your brother. Tell a perfect stranger if you must. Hey, I'm in something that's going to take me out, going to take me and my children out. You have to be able to say that at some point so you can get out. You have to get out. And I pray to God this day, every woman, every child, every father, every man that is in a DV situation will definitely be delivered as we speak because he is a powerful, wonderful, and able God. And that's all I got to say, y'all. That's all I got to say.
All
Thank you,
right, Mama.
sis.
Thank you so much
Thank
for that.
you.
Okay, now.
And I just want to say one thing before we start playing some more of the video. When it comes to being vulnerable like that and having the courage, right, after you healed, you've done work, and you've moved on to be able to tell that story, not just to let people know what you've been through, but to also give people the, wisdom and the understanding that if it's something that they're going through as well, they can get through it. They can come out on the other side. It doesn't have to end badly or poorly. It is called a testimony. And so when someone gives a testimony, I think that's something that we should really value and treasure, because it's not always easy to get up here and tell people, and put your heart on the line, your business on the line, for the sake of others. It's not always the easiest thing to do. And I'm just going to add this little tidbit before we go. But one of the most disgusting things that I see that happens a lot on this platform is that there are many other individuals that have done those same exact things. They have been very vulnerable. They've been very open, and they have spoke about some things that they might have, went through in their life, right? They poured out their soul and their heart. And for someone to take that and use it as a weapon against them in another fight or at another time, or think as though it's something that they can throw in their face to humiliate them with, you got to understand, for that person to be able to share that with you in the first place, they've already done the work. So there's nothing you really can throw in anybody's face that can make them feel bad or shameful or low about themselves, because they've already moved past that stage. That's the whole moral of the story, when someone is able to bring a testimony like that. So I just wanted people to understand, like, what do you say, Monty? You can go and grow. Happy.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of exploitation of people's vulnerability in personal lives, and there's a lot of people that mock DV. That's a chat for another day. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure we're going to do a live soon on what is good tech, what personal stuff that people are using for content and to mock people about their previous trauma and experiences. But the other question I wanted to ask, is this the last segment, the last 15 minutes?
Yes, we about to do the last segment, and then we'll be wrapping up the 45 minutes of this part 3. And then when we come back, whether tomorrow or whatever other day, we'll be getting into the final part, which will be the part 4, which will be falling under, let me see, this
Yeah,
covering.
I think we can probably wrap this up tomorrow. I don't think there's much. Well, there's stuff on the political frame, but I think we can wrap this up tomorrow. What do you reckon?
I reckon that is a good idea, bro. So we'll be
Yeah.
getting into the blueprint for healing, which is going to be the part 4 and the final part, exit plans and spiritual restoration. We will get into that either tomorrow or one of the following days. But we have a last 10 minutes left that we're going to listen to in this segment. We'll do our final commentary on that, and then we'll be done. So let's go ahead and get back into the video. We'll hear the rest of it, and then we'll be back for commentary, y'all. Give me just a second. Let me get this back playing for us. Yeah, finish that off. All right, y'all, here we go.
Virginia, Denise, you want to roll them out and unfilter your question for Iyanla? Denise?
What do you do if the person is not willing to get help or receive help? How long do we wait for that lifelong? Do we wait for a call back? If they don't call you back and then you find out that it went the wrong way, how do you keep from beating yourself up thinking you should have did X, Y, and Z beforehand? I once heard someone say that you can't help someone if they don't want to help themselves.
Denise, I just want to clarify. When you say that person, that man, that woman,
a woman.
Got it. So
a woman.
So you're saying that if that woman doesn't want to leave, if that woman doesn't want to get help, is that what you're saying?
Right.
Okay.
Yes. If you've advised her, and as a mother, I've said to the person, as his mother, I'm telling you, sister, this isn't going to go well for you. You need to leave. And they still don't leave, and they stay in that predicament, in that situation. How much time do you give yourself before you reach out and say, okay, I need you to do X, Y, Z. I need you to, and if they still don't leave and you drop it, then how much more space do you need to give this person?
But before I go to Iyanla, I want to ask you a question. You said, as the mother of that man, you went to the woman. Is that what?
And I said, this isn't going to go well.
No. I understand that. No, hold on. I heard you. I heard you. Here's my question for you. And then this is not judging. What conversation have you had with him?
For him to not do what he was doing. You don't put your hands on a woman. You don't do this. How would you like if someone did this to your sister?
Right. Hold on. I got all of that. Have you said to him, and I'm assuming this is your son, have you said to him, son, you need some help. Son, you need some therapy. Son, I will take you there, because the path that you are wrong on is a destructive one. Have you said that to him?
I have said to him.
And again,
the woman.
I just want to ask Donna.
Role model or
No, Don, I just want to ask. And again, I'm not judging. I'm just walking through.
Right.
Did you said to him, son, you need some help? And
yes.
What did he say to you?
I don't need no help. I just need them to do, just a lot of venting. Not being accountable for what he's doing, not being held responsible for what he's doing. So much not feeling bad until after, and then he'll come back and say, yeah, Mom, you were right. I should have did, because I'll say, just leave. You have to leave, because if it gets too hot and gets too emotional, you have to step out of that situation. You're not going to see the wrong that you're doing until you leave and get out of it.
So, okay. So when you did that and he said, Mom, you're right. Did you say, son, here is the name of a counselor, a therapist, a psychiatrist?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I had looked up several places that he could check himself into, several places he could go to talk to people, several brothers that he could talk to, several Mason brothers he could go to. And I tried to pair him with different stronger men that he could go to, because my father wasn't here anymore. Than the role model he did have, that person wasn't here anymore. So it looked like to him that I have no ally. I have nobody to go to anymore. His father wasn't in his life. We couldn't go there. And so I saw other men that I could say, okay, talk to this man, talk to this brother, seek this out from that person.
Got it. And he still resists.
He would go to him, but he just wouldn't listen. He wouldn't listen sometimes.
Iyanla.
But now that he's gotten older, he's regretted that and says, I wish I had listened to you, Mom. I wish I had done it this way. I wish I'd have went on and did this and that. So he's matured from that now. But I just wanted to say to that female person, how much space do we give her before we say, you know, you need to leave, you know. And then if they don't leave and you give them the tools and you tell them how to leave, because being a person in a domestic relationship myself, I understood what she was going through and how she was going to justify what he was doing when I'm saying to her, that's not your fault. This is not your fight. This is him.
Okay.
But you need to know that you can't stay there. You have to secure it and be a safe haven for your children.
Got it. Thanks for your call, Iyanla.
Thank you.
She don't want to hear what I got to say.
No.
Yes,
She's over involved.
Yes, ma'am.
You are too involved in this business. You are too involved. You don't get to tell a woman to leave her husband. You don't get to do that. It's none of your business. What you get to do is to be an elder woman there to support her, to talk about whatever it is that she needs to talk about, to offer her some presence, support, and guidance. It's not your business, because if you tell her to leave and she doesn't and anything happens, then you're going to take that on. And it's not yours to take on. And you don't get to tell your son how to be a husband. You get to tell him how to be a son, how to be a man. And if he doesn't want to listen to you, he doesn't. You got to have clearer boundaries here. You're over involved. And when he wants to do it, he will. Your job, mama, is to pray. Your job is to be present to the degree. Your job is to have real boundaries. But you looking for men for him and this for him beyond, here's a name, I'll go with you. You over involved in this.
I'm going to say this, Donna. You done exactly what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, get out.
You went to talk to your son. You tried to help him. You went to the sister. You tried to help. You have done. No one can say Donna did not do what she's supposed to do. Iyanla said it earlier. A person does not leave until they have decided that the pain is no longer bearable.
Do they have children?
She's
gone.
She already gone.
Well, she could be grandma. Just be grandma.
Yeah,
just be grandma.
I don't want Donna to beat herself up.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Denise. And I heard all right, and I heard it. But the reality is, we've all been there.
Yeah.
If you can't make a grown person do it, all you can do is give them as many options as possible, and then it's.
But remember earlier, I said, be a soft place for her to fall.
Mm-hmm.
But don't just come to complain. What is your choice? What do you, okay, so you can come, you and the kids can come, we can go shopping, we can bake cake, cookies, whatever. We can't talk about your marriage. Because it's clear to me you're not ready to do anything about it right now.
There you go. Is it G from Lawton, Oklahoma? They're still there?
Sir. Yes, sir.
What's your question?
My question is in reference to the church. How can we get the church more involved? Because I'm listening to all of the other callers calling in to know I'm not a minister, but I'm thinking some of these things that they're going through goes back to the church. The church needs to get more involved in what's going on now.
So, G, let me ask you a question. Do you belong to a church? Do you belong to a church in Lawton, Oklahoma?
No, I don't.
Okay, so let's start right there. So now hold up, G. Now, G, hold up. See, G, you called in, and see, we're gonna have to go there. Now, and so again, see, I guess some of y'all thought only Iyanla was gonna ask questions. No, G, you are asking the church to get involved.
And you ain't involved.
The church is comprised of people. The church is not a pastor. So how can you, being a non-church person, ask the church to get involved when the church needs people who care about the issue to get involved? So you clearly, by calling in, you concerned about this issue. Why is it that you have not joined a church in Lawton, Oklahoma, that may very well have a strong domestic violence or anti-domestic violence ministry or a strong men's ministry?
Well, I'm gonna keep it real, Ro. I'm still shopping around. Number one.
Now hold on, G. How long you been in Lawton, Oklahoma?
I moved back about 5 years ago. Now I'm not from here. I'm originally from Los Angeles.
G, I got that. So G, you've been shopping for 5 years. 5 years. G,
It
didn't take you 5 years.
I do listen to Jamal Bryant. Okay?
No. Listen. Listening online is one thing, but being involved in the ministry is another. Here's all I'm saying, G. It didn't take you 5 years to find a place to live. It didn't take you 5 years to find a job. It probably didn't take you 5 years to find a woman or a man. I don't know your situation. I'm just putting. No. G, I never assume. G, I never assume. My point is this here, G.
Roll your roll.
G, I got you. I got you, G. Here's my whole point.
Roll your roll.
G, I got you. G, I got you. My point is this here, G. If you want the church to be involved, you're going to have to be involved in the church.
I know, brother. I know. Thank you.
All right, G. Find a church soon, G. Like, give yourself a time limit. All right,
okay.
G.
Hey, Ro.
Yeah.
Ro. We got, you and I have.
All right, y'all. So we've, met the mark where we got to stop. And that caller and that conversation was pretty interesting, talking around the church. So as y'all might have heard in, I believe it was episode 2 that we did, Mama had came on before, and she had told a story and expressed what I actually witnessed with my own 2 eyes and my own 2 ears to be true when it comes to some of these churches. Now, the man saying that he doesn't necessarily have a church home, but he feels as though churches in general could be more of aid and assistance when it comes to these type of things. I felt a little bit like, I didn't like the fact that Roland was scolding him for saying that, because I believe what he's saying is absolutely true. Because we know, especially within the Black or African American community, and maybe other races and backgrounds as well, that tend to turn, majorly to their religious beliefs and their church structures and things of that nature when they're in times of need. If they feel as though those structures are not helping and aiding appropriately or enough, then I don't think that's anything wrong to call out just because he has not selected a church home or decided that he wants to be part of the church, because he could be speaking that way for a friend, an auntie, a family member who is heavily in the church and seeing that the church is not aiding and assisting or doing anything for that person that may be in that predicament, and they are heavily in the church. He doesn't have to be heavily in the church for him to say that the church could be doing more, because the churches back in the day and certain, eras or whatnot used to be a little bit more activist like, a little bit more community based like, and they would help and aid and assist on these things more. But we do know a lot of churches nowadays, it's about what they can get from the people who come to attend the church more so than what they can give back out to them. And I'm not saying all, I'm just saying some. Now, my mom, right now, I'm going to just tell you what she said on the previous live, which is something that she experienced, and I was there to witness this. Okay. When she went to different churches, because she had chose different churches, because you got to find one that fits for you. One of the pastors that she seen at a church told her when she was going through a DB experience that biblically this is your husband, and you stay with your husband through thick and thin, through better or worse, through life and death, all of those things that's supposed to be in the vows and the oaths. Okay. Now, one of the other churches that she went to, a different pastor told her, if this is becoming dangerous for you and you feel as though you're going to be hurt and harmed and may no longer be here, I suggest it's best for you to get out of this marriage and leave, but do it the safe way. And we will give you resources if you need some to get out of this predicament. So with that caller that called in talking about conversation around churches, right, and how they can deal with these things, I absolutely agree with him. I really do. And I don't think he should have been shunned for that. That's just my perspective and my opinion based off of what I have witnessed. Some churches will push you right back into the home in the hands of the abuser. Some churches and pastors will tell you realistically what is safe for you as an individual. You need to get away. You need to get out. This is not working. but you need to do it in a safe way. You can't just up and leave sometimes. And a lot of people know that. So that's when the resources come in. That's when the help comes in. And they give that to you. They provide that to you. And that helps and aids the person. But some churches are strictly religion based, and they will tell you that that is your husband. You stick with your husband no matter what. You stay with your husband through thick and thin. And that's not always the best advice. So that's all I got to say on that part. Imani, do you have some thoughts on this last segment right here and that last caller that called in? Imani, are you still there? Can you hear me?
Sorry, I didn't unmute the mic. Yeah, there were a couple
It's
of
okay.
callers there. The first one was about a mother and what she wanted to know what she should do. And there was an interesting conversation here about boundaries. And it was really about the limits of trying to fix others. You really cannot regulate another person's mind, no matter how much you love them or how hard you try. Um, there's a lot of people in the community carrying a lot of trauma, and I know we've said this word many a time. I feel like I've got this word on rinse and repeat. Um, and but logic, reason, and just talking to them doesn't work. So you know, you, our responsibility is our own emotional regulation, not someone else's breakdown, not someone else's traumas. We can only try and help them, give them the resources. They have to do the work themselves if they really want to. And that goes on both sides. Just as we said, women, we should not try and make women leave when they're not ready, when it's not safe for them. We cannot force people to seek help until they are ready. So, then, obviously this guy came in and he talked about the church and what we need here, there's a lot of talk about in this segment about emotional literacy. Violence it really is often the last stage of unaddressed trauma or wounds. It's not a sudden event. And it comes a lot from generational trauma. So, we need to look at red flags. We need to look at people who are self-medicating. We need to look at people who are avoiding their behaviours. We need to learn, emotional regulation. And last but not least, they did talk about the community building its own systems. They talked about spiritual hygiene with the churches. You've spoken enough about that, and Mama spoke about that the other day. And also collective accountability. We cannot wait. We really cannot wait for the institutions to fix us. We really do have to try and fix ourselves. We've got to we can't try and save people in crisis without the tools to help them. This will only drain you, and it really delays the real intervention that's needed. Like we said, policies matter. Budgets for mental health, domestic violence programs come from elected officials. Votes matter. Votes matter. Healing can be part of the community action and the collective action, but the responsibility starts with the person themselves. That it really does start there. It starts with yourself. So, we've got to look at, the warning signs. We've got to look at the help that's needed. And we've also got to look at, finding the resources, providing temporary stuff that people may need. We really, it was heavy what we heard in this conversation, but it was good because every call taught us something tonight about what people are going through. um healing takes time. um it takes one person to provide you that source that you can that you need. If you can offer a hand, offer it. If you can offer a resource, share it. If you can offer your presence, give it. And if you can offer love, also give it. We can't undo the pain that some people have gone through, but we can absolutely help to prevent, correct, build, and help them start doing the necessary work. That's both men and women, or whoever is going through these situations, whether they are the aggressor or the victim stroke survivor. That work that we all need to do together, it needs to be done. And that's really all I've got to say for this.
I absolutely agree, right? Like you said, on both sides, right? It's not only, maybe, and, we have different dynamics of relationships and it can go all different ways. But if we're just going to talk about, woman man relationship, it's not always, the woman needs to decide when she needs to leave. That's absolutely true. And it's only going to happen when she's ready to go. And to convince a man that his behavior is toxic and terrible and he needs to stop doing it and, stop treating that woman that way. If he doesn't believe that he's doing anything wrong or he's hurting or harming anybody or he feels like he's in the right to act and treat that woman like that at that time, it is up to him as well to open up his eyes and realize that that type of treatment is unacceptable, improper, and dangerous, right? And so, even outsiders, yes, it's good for us to try, right? Try to aid, try to assist, try to say something, but don't take it too far, is what I typically learn, because you can talk until you are blue in the face. It is up to those individuals to see the light for themselves and make the proper decisions to get away or get to safety or whatever it is that's best for them at that time. That choice is going to only be up to them when they are ready to make it. So, providing safety, comfort, a shoulder to cry on, an ear to speak into, resources that can help, all of those things are helpful. All of those things are things that we can do. However, don't beat yourself up when you're trying to force that person to leave a situation that you can see is damaging and, toxic for them and almost could be possibly very detrimental for them as far as them still being alive. Let's just say that. It's hard to walk away from that. I understand, especially when it's somebody you truly and deeply care about. But the honesty about all of that is when it comes to it, it really boils down to that person just having enough and making that decision to do something different. So I do have some final words I'm gonna say. After you, Imani, would you like to say anything further before we wrap up?
Yeah, I mean, as a closing, some closing words. Even if with everything we've heard tonight, um, just remember we are not powerless. Every one of us has something we can give: a hand, a resource, a moment of your time. Healing doesn't happen all at once. It happens, it happens slowly. It happens one person at a time. And when we choose to show up for each other, we become the safety, the strength, and the hope that the community needs. So we've got to look out for one another. We've got to, give a hand where we can, give a bed to someone who may need it. Give a kind word when you know someone needs it. Talk to someone when you see those red flags. We can help each other, but we've got to do it together.
I absolutely agree. And so let's go ahead and give some final thoughts here. And we will give a brief segue into what our final part of this series will be. But yeah, before we move into that final part of the series and that final segment, I want to say to the brothers out there, your vulnerability is not your weakness. It is your gateway to healing. You don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders that you have never been allowed to rest. And to the sisters out there, understanding the pain of our men doesn't mean you have to stay and be the target of it. You can have compassion for the wound without being the bandage. We've identified the disease. Now I need y'all to stay tuned for part 4, where we lay out the blueprint for healing and the sacred pause that can save a life. Keep your spirit clean, and we will see y'all on the finale. So thank you all so much for joining, everybody who came to listen. And even if you were just listening from the bush, I hope it was something that you were able to hear on this live. Maybe it helped you. Maybe it gave you information to help someone else. We appreciate you all for joining and listening regardless. And we will be back with the final part, which is part 4 to this content, whether tomorrow or another day. We'll see, y'all. We'll see what we got planned. You never know with us. We always got something different going on over here. I'd like to thank Imani for joining me as my co-host on this segment and many more segments to come. And thank you, Mom, for coming in as well and being so vulnerable and sharing your personal story and experience as well to add to this conversation. I'm going to go ahead and, per usual, y'all know, end it with a bop. All I can say is thanks, y'all, and I really hope this conversation was helpful to somebody today. I hope you all have a great rest of the evening. We appreciate you so much. Golden, Imani, Mama Warrior, out. Bye.
What happened to us? How did survival become the only thing we teach? How did pain become inheritance? How did so many people learn how to hide before they ever learned how to heal? Oh, we're tired. We tired. I know women that smile so nobody asks questions. No men so numb they mistake race for protection. No children in the next room hearing every fight, learning what love is from fear every night. And people say that's just how relationships go. No, that's trauma repeating itself through generations. We never broke. Facts. We mask up pretending everything okay. Family his body. Somebody child grew up praying after his screaming. Now they older still battling depression and demons. Think about it. Ain't nobody wanna say it out loud, but some people are exhausted from carrying everybody else. Strong friend, strong mother, strong provider, strong survivor, but secretly falling apart on the inside. Oh no, some wounds don't close easy. I know some nights feel endless, but God never meant for your spirit to live this heavy. We cry in silence, smile through violence, call it strength while our souls keep dying. No more hiding, no more pretending. This healing journey might save generations. Heal us, heal us, heal us, heal us, heal us. It may be the bravest thing we ever do is finally tell the truth. Yeah. Men told don't cry, so they learn anger instead. Women taught loyalty even when emotionally dead. And somewhere along the line, everybody stopped feeling safe. Now communication sound like war, love sound like escape. Some people don't need another relationship. They need rest, need therapy, need forgiveness, need God, need space to breathe without surviving for 1 second. And social media made it worse. Everybody performing healing, posting quotes about peace while privately breaking ceilings. We got people screaming family first while destroying the family at home. People begging for intimacy while emotionally unavailable in their soul. And maybe some people were never toxic. Maybe they were just deeply wounded, with nobody safe enough to help them unpack it. Some of us were taught to endure things we should have escaped. Some of us confused suffering with loyalty. Some of us stayed because we didn't believe peace was possible for us. But healing is possible. We deserve homes that feel peaceful, love that feels equal. Rest for the weary soul. No more surviving alone. Rise, rise, rise. There's still light inside your chest. Even after everything, you'll survive. Hold on, don't give up, don't give up. And if nobody told you lately, you are still worthy of joy, of safety, of love, of peace. Maybe healing starts when we finally stop pretending we're okay. that's a safe bet.